DreAllDay.com.
You're now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day, to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you have expected to achieve is yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative, which is the go-getter energy that moves me, you, him, her, they, and them to go make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And what we do is put all this together in one bundle, one package, one mindset, one method, one philosophy, one book, one show, one masterclass that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic, I want to introduce you to the new program that I've been talking about, that I've been teasing. I've been telling y'all was coming on November 1st. Today is November 1st. Allow me to introduce you to Work on Your Game University. That's what we're talking about here today. The reason why Work on Your Game University exists, I'm gonna tell you the simple challenge that we found ourselves over here at Work on Your Game. What we needed to resolve was that over the years, of course, you probably know, I've created a shit ton of content. We've created courses, we've created programs, all kinds of products, written all these books, put out all these videos, done TED Talk, all these different things that we have put out into the world. If I took all the material that I've created and published, even the stuff that we didn't charge for over the last 15 years, and just put it into one thing, it might take you, who knows how long it would take you to consume all of it. I don't even know. If there's a product or some kind of aggregator that can count that up, I would love to know, because I think I got the biggest number of anybody on the internet. But anyway, the challenge was, where do you begin? Not where do I begin, but where do you begin? Since you were not the person that created it, but let's say you hear me and you're like, all right, what this guy's talking about, where do I get more? Where do I start? What should I do first? Should I follow him on Twitter? Should I watch the YouTube videos? Which playlist do I begin with? Should I listen to the podcast? Which episode do I start with? Should I take one of these courses? Which one? Should I read a book? Which one? It was hard for anybody to understand where's the journey? What is the path that you take to start? Where do you start at and where do you end at? And where are we taking you? Even though the material was good, oftentimes what we know in the marketing world, the sales world, is when a customer is confused or a person is confused about where they go. Customer is confused, they buy nothing. When a person is confused, they do nothing, right? So what does a person do first? What do they do next? What do they do next? We created Work on Your Game University to help answer these questions, to give you a streamlined path for where you go when you're following the Work on Your Game, philosophy, the framework, the mentality, this whole ecosystem that we've created here. And what we made sure we did with Work on Your Game University, inside this program, we created levels. So there are levels for everybody. You can join at the level at which you are comfortable, the level that makes the most sense for you. And as I'm talking, you can go to workonyourgameuniversity.com and get all this information. I'm going to be sounding all of this out and talking it out and explaining to you why we created Work on Your Game University, what it's going to do, exactly what challenges you have. Yes, because I know what challenges you have. I have read your mind, and I'm going to tell you what the challenges are that you're facing right now. And if I'm wrong about the challenges that I lay out, then obviously Work on Your Game University is not for you. But if I lay out some challenges that are for you, then you know that I know exactly what challenges you're facing right now, which means I probably know how to help you. And I'm going to tell you how we're going to help you too. So if the things that I lay out as your challenges are wrong, then this is not for you. And the things I lay out as your solutions are wrong, then this is not for you. But if I'm right on both, which I suspect that I am, then I would suggest you go to Work on Your Game University and take a look at what it is that we're offering here. And I'm going to talk about it here so you can listen to me. Then you can go over there, or you can do both at the same time. You can do one at a time. It's up to you. In the soundbite, what is Work on Your Game University? It is your way to develop the pro-athlete mentality, otherwise known as the Work on Your Game philosophy, and start winning in life and business right now so that you can stop settling. Anybody listening to this right now, you feel like you are settling in certain areas of life. You feel like you are at a certain level, but you know you could be more than this. You know you could do more than what you're doing right now. Is there anyone listening to me right now who you feel like an imposter on some levels? Like you're actually at a level that you're happy with this level, and you feel like you'll go even further from the level that you're at right now, but for whatever reason, you don't quite feel like you've earned it. You don't really feel like you really belong. You're just waiting for the moment. You have this anxiety, you're just waiting for the moment for someone to expose you as someone who actually doesn't belong at the level that you're at. If you feel like that, I made Work on Your Game University for you. So first of all, as we get into this, I got 6 points I'm going to share here today. where I'm going to explain Work on Your Game University. I'm going to introduce it to you, tell you exactly what we're going to do for you, what you're going to get out of it, why it matters to you, and what it's really going to do for you at the core, what the real outcome is going to be of what you get here. Okay? All that being said, just follow me. Point number one, the topic once again today is I'm introducing Work on Your Game University. Point number one, what are the problems that you're facing right now? Because I told you I can read your mind. So if I'm wrong about these problems, then again, you can let me know. The problems that you're facing that's going to lead you to what we're offering here, Work on Your Game, at any level, Work on Your Game. Anything that we put out, from this show to an article to a course to the university, what are the problems that you're facing right now? I'm going to tell you 5 specific things that I know. Number one, you may be feeling stagnant right now. You feel like you're doing your thing. You're working on your game. You're putting the effort in. You have goals. You have places that you want to get. But for whatever reason, relative to what the pace that you want to be moving at, you feel stagnant right now. Am I right or am I right? Number two, you feel like you're doing the work, but you're not getting the kind of results that you think you would have by this point. You feel like it's just not turning over the way that you thought it would be at this point in your life, based on the work you've put in and where you're trying to go in your career, and just knowing the fact that we're all on the clock, we ain't got forever. Third thing is, and this is not the third point, this is all part of point number one here. Again, introducing Work on Your Game University. Number three, you're not getting enough useful feedback from somebody who will actually tell you the truth about you and tell you the truth about your work. Somebody who will let you know, like, yo, what you're doing over here is great, and what you're doing over there, that's garbage. You don't have anyone around you who can actually tell you that. Someone you actually trust, someone you respect, and someone you know who actually knows what they're talking about. So therefore, you don't know if the thing that you're doing is actually going to work or if it's not going to work, and you see all the work you're going to have to keep putting into this thing. But the problem is, the trepidation is, you're like, all right, what if this ends up being the wrong thing, but I keep working all hard on it? Or what if this is the right thing and I'm about to give up on it? And you don't have anyone who can actually guide you and give you some real insight to let you know whether you're looking at the right thing or you're looking at the wrong thing. Therefore, you're unsure about the effort you put in, whether it's worth it or whether it's not. And this is leading to the stagnation. You see how all these things connect? Number four, your confidence isn't what it used to be. You used to be really confident about where you were going and what you were doing and how you were doing it. But because you keep facing these question marks that you can't get answers to, because you don't have anyone around you who you trust, who you know has the information, who can tell you, hey, this is going to work, this is not, here's why, here's what to do different, here's what to change, here's what to keep the same, here's what to fix. Since you don't have that around you, you know that you don't have the information, so you're not as confident in yourself and in your actions as you used to be. And the problem with this is, because listen, all of us feel maybe challenges to our confidence at different points, depending on what we're doing. I mean, nobody's an expert at everything the first time they try it, right? The challenge with this is you don't have forever to figure it out. Because, like I said, as human beings, none of us lives forever. All right, every one of us is going to expire at some point. So you need to have a little bit of urgency about this, and you probably do, which is why this confidence challenge is a challenge, because you don't have forever to figure it out. And number 5, you have a lot of ideas that you haven't yet brought to life. There are things that you want to do. You can see it in your mind, but for whatever reason, you haven't actually done it yet. You haven't actually brought it to fruition yet. And that's really bothering you, because you know if you don't bring it to fruition, listen, the type of person that I know you are, if you don't bring it to fruition, who else is going to do it? Probably nobody. You're the one who's going to be capable of bringing this thing to fruition. You haven't been able to actually get it done yet. And let me tell you why these current challenges here, let me tell you the fears that these lead to, because a challenge is a challenge, right? But let's get deeper. Let's talk about what these challenges are, how these challenges are manifesting themselves in your person, when you're thinking about these, the things that keep you up at night, the stuff that you don't really talk to too many people about. But if you were talking to someone that you trusted, who you know was actually listening and could actually help you, you would share these things with them. I'm gonna tell you what they are, because like I said, I know what you're going through. You fear that time's gonna go by, you'll still be in the same place that you are now, unable to make your mark on the world. That's the real problem, that you won't be able to, put your stamp on this planet and have people know, all right, this, you, fill in the blank, your name, did this. This person created, this person put this thing out in the world, and it really bothers you that you haven't done that yet, or you haven't done the way that you want to do it, and you fear that you may never get a chance to do it. Maybe you feel like all your hard work is not going to produce tangible results. You're putting the effort in, you're working on your game. I mean, you listen to a show called Work on Your Game, so I'm just assuming that you're willing to do the work, but you feel like this work may not ever produce tangible results because it hasn't produced the kind of results that you want so far. We already talked about the imposter syndrome. You feel like that you are not able to sell yourself or sell whatever you're offering because People are not quite seeing the value in it. You know you have value, but your ability to translate your value from what's in your head and what's in your offerings to other people so that they understand it, you haven't quite gotten to the point that it's doing what it's supposed to do yet. All right, am I speaking your language or not? Maybe you feel like in life, overall in life, you're gonna feel like you've settled and you've never reached your full potential. Maybe you'll feel like that you will never do enough or be enough to be satisfied with yourself, let alone what anybody else thinks. It's talking about what you think when you look in the mirror at night. You feel like you know what to do, but you're not actually doing it. Maybe you just haven't been able to be much of a self-starter, get yourself moving. But maybe you are that type of person. And if you are a person who's a self-starter, you are able to take initiative and move yourself to action. The problem is next year, you're going to be turning fill in the blank, whatever age you're about to turn next. And you thought by this point, by this age, by age 27, by age 43, by age 52, by age 19, you feel like you'll be further along in life and you're not quite there yet. And you see someone else the same age as you, they're further along, or at least they appear to be, and you're wondering what the problem is with you. Maybe you feel like you have some subconscious fears that you can't even identify consciously. You feel like those are the things that are holding you back, and you're wondering, all right, what the hell do I need to do about these because I need to take care of this. At least you identify there's an issue. Now, let me tell you what you want. We're still on point number 1 here. We're introducing Work on Your Game University. You want to make measurable progress, that you can look at yourself and tangibly see, I started here, I'm here, next I'm going here, then I'm going here, here, here. You can see a progressive plan to get from where you are to where you want to be. You want to be fully confident in yourself, knowing that you have that plan and you know that it's going to work. You want to feel unapologetic about who you are and what you're doing. You want to feel like you are actually getting towards your full potential and know that it is truly within your reach. You want to be motivated, fired up, and empowered about yourself, about your life, about your business, about your plan, about whatever it is you're trying to get to in life. Mentally active, no longer being passive and letting things happen to you, but actually you going and making things happen because you have clarity about your path and about your life. You want to know that there's someone out there that you can talk to directly when you need it, someone who understands where you're at, and someone who's going to tell you the truth about where you're at, what you're doing, and where you're going. The truth being, this is absolutely going to work, or you know what, you need to kill this because this is not going to take you where you need to go. Is anyone who's listening to this not open to that kind of conversation? Because if you're not, I think you may have turned on the wrong show. I think all of you who listen to this show understand that I understand that that's something that you want. You're willing to listen to this. You want to be excited about your future. You don't want to be selling yourself short anymore. And you want to know that you're actually fulfilling your destiny. Now, of all the things that I've said up to this point, if I'm not speaking your language, all right, Work on Your Game University is not for you. All right, this is just a misfire on my part. But I believe that I'm speaking your language so far. So if I'm right, then you should keep listening. Let's move on to point number 2. Today's topic, again, is introducing Work on Your Game University. So right now, I just laid out what the issue is. What are your challenges? What are the fears that you're having? And what is it that you actually want? The things that you may not talk to too many people about because you're not sure any of them could do anything about it. So what's the point of talking to them about it? Just a waste of your energy. But you're talking to the right person today. And you are the right person yourself. Point number 2, here are the things you're going to get with Work on Your Game University. First of all, you're going to get a strategy. You're going to have a strategy in place so that you know where you're going and you know what's necessary to achieve it. Now, we talked about strategy in episodes number 1525 and 1526. 1525 is long-term strategy. Understanding there's a difference between doing the things that feel good and doing the things that actually work. And sometimes you got to sacrifice one to do the other. And episode 1526 is how to strategize properly. I mean, how do you actually put a strategy together that's going to get you where you actually want to go? We talked about these again just about 100 days ago here on this show. Again, it's episodes 1525 and 1526. Now, why does it matter to have a strategy? What exactly is a strategy going to do for you? Because it sounds good, right? Those of you who are listening, like, yeah, it sounds good. That's great to have a strategy, Dre, but let me connect the dots a little bit more. Let me flesh that out a little bit more for you all. Why does it matter to have a strategy? Because when you have a strategy, you will know exactly where you're headed and you will know exactly what you're doing. That means every day when you show up to your office or to your laptop or to the gym or to wherever you go to put your work in, maybe it's right there where you're at. Wherever you go to put your work in, you'll know exactly what the plan is. You'll know exactly what you're doing today, tomorrow, and the day after that. And you can see long term, that's the short term, right? The tactical every day, what are you doing? But you can also see long term, I'm taking these actions today, tomorrow, and this week because in the long term is going to lead me to this outcome. That's what a strategy looks and sounds like. You want to have that in place because that's what it's going to do for you. And what does that actually do? Why does that matter? I mean, why does it matter to have this plan and the strategy and know where you're going and know what you're doing every single day? Here's why it matters. Here's the kicker. so that you can stop feeling lost and you can stop feeling aimless about your work in your life. Because working on your game is a great thing to do when you know that working on your game is actually taking you somewhere. Working on your game is not so fun if you don't know where the hell you're going. Can everybody agree with what I just said? Is anyone listening to me right now feel like you are working on your game? You're listening to the stuff I'm saying here every day, and it sounds great, and it makes sense to you logically, but when you try to apply it yourself or look at what you're doing or look where you're at, you're like, all right, I can't see where this is taking me personally. So it's kind of hard to keep working on your game. It's kind of hard to stay locked in on that. We're going to solve that problem and work on your game university. Point number 3. Top here today is we are introducing Work on Your Game University. Next thing you're going to get, you have live interactions. Yes, live, L-I-V-E, interactions with who? Me, Dre Baldwin. Multiple times every month you have opportunity to get live interactions with me. You can get on, join our live events, which of course will be virtual. So you don't have to be in Miami, you don't have to be in Toronto or New York or any certain physical location. As long as you have internet access, which you do because you're listening to me right now, you can join these live events. And where you'll be able to talk to me, you'll be able to get direct training from me, you'll be able to ask questions of me, get your questions answered not only by me, but by other people on our live events, other people in the community who may have information that can supplement anything that I share or anything, and you'll be able to share with other people as well. All right, so live interactions, why does that matter? Because with a live interaction, you can get your questions answered live and directly, and let me tell you why that matters. Why does it matter to get questions answered? I mean, because people ask questions every day. I mean, I answer questions every day here on this show. It may not be the specific question you have, but why does it matter to get your questions answered? So that you don't feel directionless. You know that every time, in Work on Your Game University, you will know that every time you have a challenge, every time you have a question, every time you run into a speed bump or you run into a wall and you can't quite figure out how to get around it or over it or through it, you know all you had to do is come to the next live event. You can ask your question and get an answer. Or you can go to another place, which is going to be our community at the university. I'll tell you about that in a minute, where you can get your question answered. And you can join the community. You can also give back. The same way the community will give to you, you can give to the community. So maybe somebody has a question that you can answer. Maybe you have an idea or some experience that can help others, where the same way as someone else has an idea or experience that can help you, whether it's me or anyone else, you get that in Work on Your Game University. Number 4. Today's topic again is we're introducing Work on Your Game University. The 4th thing you're going to get here is accountability. Accountability is a huge thing. We talked about accountability in episode number 1385, Earning Your Right to Hold People Accountable. Masterclass number 765, Closing Your Accountability Gaps. And masterclass number 688, How to Hold Yourself Accountable just personally in life. So we talked about accountability a few times on the show and many other times where it wasn't the exact main topic of the show, but we talked about it a bunch of times. You're going to get accountability and Work on Your Game University, which enables you to do something really important, for you to be responsible for following through on your plans. Now, why is that so important? Who listening to me right now has ever made plans or had ideas and things that you said you were going to do, things that you wrote down, things that you told other people about, things that you told yourself about, and somehow, some way, years later, you didn't follow through. You did not complete the mission. For some reason, you didn't finish. You didn't finish the thing that you started, or maybe you never started the thing, therefore it's impossible for you to finish it. Why did that happen? Because there was nothing or no one there to hold you accountable to following through on your plans. I mean, how many plans do we all have in life, in the ideas drawer of our lives? Things we thought about, things we started, things we wrote down, things we went and even got the tools to actually do them, but then we never actually finished them. Why? Because there was nothing in place to hold us accountable to make sure we got it done. Here's the thing I know about accountability, ladies and gentlemen. We get a lot more done when accountability is in place than when there's not. All right, all of us can be self-starters and personal initiative and being disciplined and tough and all of those things. When there's accountability in place and we know that if we don't do something, there is something in place, whether it's a person, place, or thing, that is going to hold our lack of getting it done up to the light, we get things done. Because as human beings, as human nature, we don't want to deal with having a look at ourselves in the mirror or having a look at another person and say, you know what, I just didn't get it done. No excuses, I just didn't get it done. Nobody wants to have to say that. And that's why accountability works. So it's kind of like the carrot and the stick, right? The reward is the carrot. The stick is the accountability. And accountability works. Whether maybe you might not love that analogy, but accountability works to make sure we get things done. And what it really means for you is that you will actually implement all the plans you make and get them done. How would it feel if you just took 5 of the ideas you had this year in 2020 and they actually got executed on, rather than being things you think about right now and say, damn, no, I had that idea, but I never did it. Or the idea that you just had yesterday that you already put on the back burner and is never going to actually come to fruition. How would it feel if you were actually getting those things done? Now, maybe some of the ideas you execute on, maybe they don't turn into anything, maybe they don't work. Listen, I've had plenty of ideas that did not work. All right? I've tried many things that didn't work, but understand something. I executed on them to find out that they didn't work. The way that I know they didn't work is because I executed on them, and let me see what kind of result this is going to produce. If you don't execute on something, then you're always left with the regret of omission. Regret of omission is things that you didn't do. Regret of commission is things that you did do. Which one would you rather have a regret of? What you did or what you didn't do? It's not that hard to regret things that you did do. At least you know exactly what happened. You can say, all right, maybe I shouldn't have did that, but you can laugh about it. You can say, all right, that was a good experience. At least I went through the experience and I know what transpired. But the regrets of things that you never did, you don't know what happened. You don't know what would have happened, and that opportunity may not be available to you anymore. All right. I'd rather deal with the regrets of commission. All right, I did it. It didn't work. All right, that's fine. At least I know what happened. Point number 5. Today's topic, we're introducing Work on Your Game University. You're also going to get access to a community of like-minded people, entrepreneurs, athletes, business owners, growth-focused individuals. They may not be in any of those categories. People who are focused on growing, people who are focused on taking their game, whatever their game happens to be, to the next level, people who are serious about working on their game and serious about having the right mindset, having a strategy in place, being held accountable, and taking action to actually get things done. Not talking about getting it done, not planning on getting it done, but actually getting it done. You're going to be in a community of people who all have this mentality. And why does that community matter? Because in such a community, you'll be able to not only share your ideas with other people, you'll be able to involve yourself with other people's ideas, meaning they can help you, they can support you the same way you support them, which means you will never feel isolated anymore. You're not going to feel as if you're holding up the world on your shoulders trying to do everything by yourself. How many of you, especially since COVID-19 hit not only America, but the entire world this year, a lot of us have felt kind of isolated. You might have been sheltering in place. You might still be sheltering in place right now, avoiding going outside, avoiding any kind of public gathering. You don't go to the mall. You don't go to restaurants. You don't go anywhere where there's going to be a bunch of people. You don't go to the gym. You're barely seeing any human beings aside from the phone. And even though it's cool to talk to people through the phone and be on social media and all that, if you're on social media, 100% of your interactions with people and you're not ever around any actual people in your real physical life, or you can't get any real kind of communication directly with a person, as opposed to something that they post on a timeline or some picture that they put up, it kind of gets, you kind of get like a digital headache, right? It's a digital headache of you're seeing all this stuff, the people talking at you instead of people talking with you. People sharing what is going on in their mind, but nobody giving the energy exchange of listening to what's going on in your mind and offering you something specific, direct about you and for you. I think there are some people listening to me right now who know exactly what I'm talking about. You're going through this right now because you've been in the house on a computer, cool, but you haven't really had any real, valuable, genuine interactions with human beings. It is possible on the internet when you're talking to someone who is talking to you. Not to the whole world, not to 10,000 people, but talking directly to you. That's what you're going to get in the community at Work on Your Game University. So you can stop feeling like you're isolated and feel like you have to go through what you're doing in life all alone. I'm going to tell everyone here, and some of you already know this, but many of you may not, a little secret about life. You do not have to do everything on your own. You don't have to figure out everything on your own. You do not have to have every skill on your own. Your ability to leverage the skills, knowledge, experiences, and information of other people will fast track your success much faster than any amount of skill and hard work and effort and discipline you can enact on your own. There's only so much any human being can do by themselves. I don't care how hard you work. I don't care how little you sleep, how much of a hustler or a grinder you are, how smart you believe you are, how much information you think you have access to. There is only so much any one human being can do. You can get a whole lot more done when you enlist the help, the knowledge, the experiences, the insights of other people. And in the Work on Your Game University community, that's exactly what you're going to get. So you don't have to do it all on your own anymore. If you've been trying to do it all on your own, but depending on how hard you work and how skilled you are, maybe you have created quite an impressive resume doing everything by yourself. I guarantee if you've already done that, we're going to 10x your results just by you being able to plug into other people's insights and other people's skills. Because you only got, most of the human beings I know, 2 hands and 2 legs. No, I don't know too many people have more than that. All right, so there's only so much you can get done by yourself and only 1 brain. I don't know anybody who has more than 1. So how about you enlisted the help of a bunch of others who also have the same mentality as you about working on their game and getting better? I think you will go a whole lot further, a whole lot faster. What do you think? Point number 6, the topic here today, we got 7 points. I said 6, I lied, we got 7. Point number 6, today's topic, we're introducing Work on Your Game University. Of course, this is something I didn't even mention. I could have mentioned this first, but I saved it for last because you should understand it, but I got to make sure I include it. You're going to get the consistent mental game training that you already know Dre Baldwin for, that you already know the Work on Your Game philosophy for. The mental game, discipline, showing up every day to do the work, confidence and putting yourself out there boldly and authentically. Mental toughness, continuing to show up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you're expected to achieve is yet to be achieved. And personal initiative, making things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. Of course, you're going to get that. You're going to get plenty of that. You're going to have so much of it. You will never be short of the mental game necessary for you to do what you need to do, that you already know us for. You will always be disciplined, confident, mentally tough, and understand taking initiative for whatever game you happen to be in. And why does this matter? What do all these mental game things do for you? I mean, you can fill in the blank and tell me. I mean, you listen to this show. What is it doing for you right now? What is it going to do for you through Work on Your Game University? It will mean that you have a strong, stable foundation on which to build. Any of you follow me on social media, you follow my social media story, you see me showing you that 1 day at a time, these buildings being built in Miami whenever I'm walking around these streets. The foundation of the building is the most important part of the building. Not the pool on the roof, not the construction workers walking around while they're doing the building, is the foundation. Because everything else, if something happens to the foundation, the whole thing falls apart. If the foundation falters, the whole building falls apart. Doesn't matter what else is in there. Doesn't matter who's in there. Doesn't matter how much money got spent on it. Doesn't matter how tall it is. Doesn't matter how nice the fixtures are on the inside. Nobody cares. If that foundation cracks, everybody got to leave the building. Or you better hope you're not in that building if the foundation falters. The foundation for you in working on your game and you creating the success that you want to create in life is your mentality. Your willingness to show up every day, put yourself and your work out there boldly and authentically, and the fact that since everything's not always going to work out, your willingness to continue showing up and putting yourself out there, even when things haven't worked, and your ability to actually put all that into action by moving your feet. Discipline, confidence, mental toughness, personal initiative. Of course, you're going to get that in Work on Your Game University. That one you ain't even got to worry about. You don't have to worry about any of it because I'm telling you all this is coming as part of the package. Point number 7. Today's topic, once again, we are introducing Work on Your Game University. You have the option, if you are so interested, because I get a few people who ask me, if you would like to work one-on-one with me, if you like to get on a one-on-one call with me and talk about your specific challenges, what you have going on, what you need to work on right now, where maybe you don't want to talk about it so much with other people. Maybe you don't want to see what other people think. You want to know exactly what I think. Maybe there's something you think I can help you directly with. I'm sure there are plenty of things I can help you directly with. You just want to work with me one-on-one, you got the option of doing that too. All right, we got something for everybody here in Work on Your Game University. So if you would like to be able to talk privately with me about what you're doing, where you're going, what your challenges are, and get my personal attention and never be left alone, fending for yourself again, not have to figure things out on your own, but be able to talk to someone who's been where you're trying to go, somebody who's sat in the seat that you're sitting in right now, myself, you got an option for that too. Work on Your Game University, we got something for everybody. I mean, it's just like a college campus. Listen, those of you who are thinking about going to school or thinking about going back, or maybe you're in school right now and you're like, man, they're charging me an arm and a leg. Listen, you could drop out of school right now. All right, you join Work on Your Game University, you get all the education you need to take your game. Again, you want to apply that pro athlete mentality. The mentality you need to get to the top 1% in the sports world, that's the pro level, and take those same mental tools and apply them to your business and to your life and to whatever game you happen to be getting into. Work on Your Game University is the place that you could do that. All that being said, let's recap our points here today. The topic, once again, is we are introducing the program that I told you was coming, Work on Your Game University. You can get all the details and get yourself started. Choose your level, choose your mission at workonyourgameuniversity.com. While I am talking right now, the challenge is Where do people begin? What do we do next? What do we do next? We answered those questions by putting this program together in a soundbite. This is the way for you to develop the pro athlete mentality and start winning at life and business so you can stop settling and stop feeling like an imposter. The problems are you feel stagnant. You feel like you are not getting the results that you thought you were getting to this point in your life. You don't have anyone to tell you the truth about yourself and your work. Your confidence isn't what it used to be. You have ideas that have not yet been put into action. We're going to fix all that. What are you getting here? You're getting the strategy to know where you're going and know what's necessary to achieve it so you can know exactly where you're headed and stop feeling lost. You're getting a live interaction with Dre, that's me, multiple times every month so you can get your questions answered live and direct so you never feel like you lack direction. You have the accountability in place that will enable you to be responsible for following through on your plans, which means you will actually implement your plans and get them done and have real results. You will have access to a community of like-minded people in business, people in sports, people who are serious about working on their game so that you can share ideas, you can get help, you can give support, which means you are no longer isolated, you're no longer holding up the world on your shoulders. You, of course, get the consistent mental game training that you know us for, so you will always be disciplined, confident, mentally tough, and willing to take initiative for whatever game you're in, so you have a strong, stable foundation upon which to build. And of course, there's the option. If you want to work with me one-on-one, be coached by me one-on-one, be able to talk to me privately, we got an option for that too, so that you are never left alone fending for yourself again. This is Work on Your Game University, ladies and gentlemen. This is the next frontier of the Work on Your Game philosophy. So where does it begin? You can come in, listen to something like this show or a YouTube video or follow me somewhere on social media. The next step is for you to get into, if you want to read a book, you can get a book. And then the next step is for you to get into Work on Your Game University, where, again, if you go to that page and you see, some of you might be asking, well, Dre, what about the courses? What about this show? What about some of your books? What about this thing, that thing, that thing? Anything I didn't mention here, because I could talk about this thing for 3 hours. Anything I didn't mention, go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. It is all covered right there on that page. If there's anything missing that I did not answer on that page, I think we covered everything. But if there's anything missing, you can hit me up anywhere you know where to find me. My email is dre@dreallday.com. Send me a DM on any social media platform. I'll be happy to answer your questions. And I will see you in Work on Your Game University. Let's get it. Dre all